Hello and welcome to what will be Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, but it is actually Sunday evening here in the UK, and basically I couldn't resist it any longer. Phistomefel's Araf Sudoku, which is what's on screen at the moment, is currently trotting along at 5 stars out of 5 for difficulty and a 100% rating on Logic Masters Germany. The comments are completely off the charts, like completely off the charts, from brilliant solvers just eulogizing about this puzzle, and so I have to try it. So I've put the video on. We're going to do it now. Rather worryingly, some of the comments were along the lines of I got a bit stuck at point X or point Y, so I'm looking forward to the Cracking the Cryptic video that will tell me how to do it. Well, let's hope I can do it. Now, what are the rules? We have got normal Sudoku rules apply. The grid must be decomposed into different areas. Each cell belongs to exactly one area. Each area contains exactly 2 clues, and the sum of all digits in an area lies between the 2 clues but may not reach them. For example, if the clues for an area are 21 and 24, the sum of the digits in the area is 22 or 23. Okay, digits may not repeat within an area, so wow, what a construction. Now let's have a look at an example puzzle Phistomefel provided on Logic Masters Germany. So you can see here, this is just a 6x6, but let's pick off. So let's look at the region at the top. You can see that's got 2 clues in it. It's got the 1 and the 16, and it's 5 cells large. So the minimum you can make 5 cells add up to is 15, and indeed they do add up to 15. Because they couldn't add up to any more, because the total must lie between 1 and 16. Okay, so what's that? Oh, so here we've got a 16 and a 22, and then the cage adds up to 18. Okay, right, so I sort of see how this works. I've no idea how we're going to go about solving it, but I think I understand the rules. And that seems important, doesn't it? So do have a go yourselves. Click on the link under the video as usual to play. And with that, let us get cracking. Now, how do we solve this puzzle? Why is my eye itching? That's not helping, is it? I can't actually see without my glasses. Now, okay, so I say so, I'm not sure. Yeah. Yes, I've got to start. This square. 18. So, if I understand the rules correctly, I can't connect this to the 19 or the 17 that are in its immediate vicinity, because I need to make the total for the cage I construct lie between the 18 and the 19, or the 18 and the 17. Well, that's not going to work. We can't make cages add up to half numbers. So this 18, which can't connect to those, can only connect to the 1. So let's kick off there. I'm going to liberally colour this, I imagine. So now, we don't know. This cage could continue. It could go there. It could go here. Oh, no, it can't go there, though, actually, because that would block off this one. And this one, because this one can't connect to the 16, it must go upwards. So let's move this one upwards, which hems this one in a little bit. Still don't know about this cell. Okay, so the 16 could come. It can't connect to the 15, so it could go to the 46, or the 1, or the 10, or the 19. That's no use. Oh, that's square. Look, the 9 can't connect to a 10 or an 8 or a 10. Right, this 9 might be important, because it can't connect to the 12 either. Because if it connects to the 12, how can we make it connect? It would have to take at least 5 cells, however I organise those 5 cells. But then I can't make 5 cells add up to 11. I could use 1, 2, 3, and 5, for example, but then once I added the next digit in, it would definitely blow the bank. So the 9 The 9 could attach to the 11 if those 4 squares add up to 10. Or the 9 could come down somewhere. Let's look at this. So can these add up to 10? And the answer is no. This is classic Phistomefel. Right off the bat, he produces some beautiful logic. So let's look at why this is impossible. Obviously, if they're forced to add up to 10, they've got to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. But that means those 3 squares have got to be 5, 6, and 7 as an absolute minimum. Now you can see that the 12 has to connect to the 19 clue now. So those 4 squares have to add up to less than 19. Well, if these are 5, 6, and 7, that's 18 already. Once I add in another number here, I'm going to break this total. So this doesn't work. This doesn't work. And we now know this 9 doesn't connect to any of those, so it must come down. It can't connect to a 10. So it's going to come all the way to there, and then it's got to make a decision. But no, it doesn't have to make much of a decision. It can't connect to the 19, because to connect to the 19 would take 2 more cells. This is now a 6-cell region. The minimum I can make 6 cells add up to, if I use different digits, is 21. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. That is not going to work. So those are not in. The 16 is also blowing the total. That would be a 7-cell region. It's completely busted. So I think it goes to the 17. So now these 5 cells add up to, well, the minimum I can make them add up to is 15, and the maximum is 16. So they've got to be 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then with a 5 or a 6. Now this 8 is now cornered. This 8 has got to come down, and it's got to connect. Well, it's either got to connect to the 15 or the 17. Right, maybe though, those 2 squares see every single cell in this 9, 17 region. So the minimum I could make these cells add up to, I can't use 1, 2, 3, and 4. I could use 5 if these add up to 16. So I could make these, the best minimum I can make those is 5 and 7. That's 12. Ah, yeah, beautiful. This is beautiful. So if the 8 connects to the 15, this region would have to add up to 14. And it can't now. Because look, I've already got 12 minimum here. I can't put 2-digit ones in those 2 cells. So this is impossible. It definitely doesn't connect to the 15. It definitely connects to the 17, where it's probably also going to have a tricky time, but hopefully there will be. So if this was 12, this could be as high as 4. But that's the maximum this domino can add up to. So this domino must contain a 1. Oh, the 1 sort of gets obscured. I'll put the 1 in the middle. The 1 has to be in one of those 2 squares. And it's either with a 2 or a 3. Now, that square can be part of the blue region. And I think has to be, because this one can't take any more cells. You can't make 3 cells add up to 4. So that is a blue cell. This region is now 4 cells adding up to a maximum of 17. Oh, this 19 has got to attach to the 15, and it can't go anywhere. Ooh, so this is a 2-cell domino adding up to more than 15. So this definitely includes a 9. This is 7, 8, 9. It's either 7, 9 or 8, 9. Oh, I know what I might be able to do with this region, because if this is 1 and 2 here, these 4 squares would be a minimum of 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now that adds up to 18. That's why he's done this. That doesn't work. 18 is too big. We can make the 4 squares add up to 17, but not 18. So we know, given that there must be a 1 in this domino, there must be a 2 in this 4-cell region. And therefore, if there's a 2 in this 4-cell region, there is not a 2 in the domino. This is adding up to 1 and 3. So this has to be 5 and 7, doesn't it? Yes, because that's the... we can't make this add up to more than 16. So this is 5, 7, which means this region doesn't contain a 5. And those squares aren't 1 or 3. So there's a 1 and a 3 in these cells by sudoku, because we know there's a 1 and a 3 in this triple here. Now the 3 has now gone from this total. So if this was 2, 4... yeah, in fact that has to be 2, 4, 5 and 6 therefore. Because anything else will break the 18... well, the 17 limit that is on this 4-cell region. These now add up to 17. So this square must be 7 or 8, because we know the 9 is in one of those two positions. Okay, so what do we do next? Do we try and connect this 16 to something? Nine, look. Oh, in fact, look at this box. Now we know the combos for these squares. We know there's no 8 or 9 in these 6 cells. So there must be an 8 and a 9 in these 3 squares. Well, if that's right, there's no 8 here, so this must be a 7. Therefore, those two, we don't get much more from that, apart from we now know the total. So 8, 9, so there's an 8, 9 pair up at the top there, just by sudoku, because these 3 squares have got to include 8 and 9. Now, what can we do? What can we do next? We've got 8 and 9 here. Oh, now, yeah, this 10, look, that 10's got to connect to a clue. It can't connect to 11. We can't make 10.5 as a total. It could connect to the 12 in theory, but not in practice, because to connect to the 12, it would take those 4 squares exactly, because it would need to add up to 11. It couldn't take any extra cells, and those 2 cells need to be part of a region, and they couldn't be. So the 10 doesn't connect to those 2, so it must come this way. It can't connect to itself. So it takes at least those 3 squares. Now, now there's an issue. This construction is stunning, isn't it? It's just stunning. The 11 now can't connect to the 12, but has to connect to something. Or to put that another way that might make it easier to see, the 12 can't connect to the 11. So what can the 12 connect to? Only the 19. So those 2 squares are part of their own shape. And then the 11 has to go through the tunnel here and hit the 19. So those squares are also part of their own shape. Now, what can we do next? We might have to, let's take this 10 a bit further, because it now can't go upwards. It can't hit the 11, it's got to turn down. This one now has to drop down as well, so that can go to there. Oh, now that is very interesting. Look at this domino. Look at this domino. Now we've got to be a bit careful with the pencil marking here, because this isn't my standard pencil marking. I've put 8s and 9s in there, but what I really mean is that 2 of these 3 squares are 8 and 9. So let's ask what this 10 can connect to. I think it can connect to the 19. In fact, I think it's going to have to, because if the 10 connects to the 1, that's a 4-cell region that has a maximum sum of 9. That's too large. If the 10 connects to the 16, look, it has to pick up the 8 and the 9 on the journey, and it will therefore sum to a minimum of 24 once we take the 7 in as well. Well, it has a maximum sum, if it connects to the 16, of 15. So this green region here definitely connects to the 19, and that pushes the grey 10 one further out. Now, that it can't connect to the 18, because that would be a 6-cell region. We know that 6 cells minimum is 21, so it's got to come down again. Oh, it's never going to be able to connect to the maybe the 39. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no, the 39 would be 9 cells away. So this would have to be, that would have to be a 46 glue, because they would have to sum to 45, because if you add up the numbers 1 to 9, you get 45. So this doesn't connect. It can't connect this way to anything. So it's going to pick up one of these, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh yes, look, it's going to come to here, and then it's going to pick a side, and it's going to hit one of those. Now, what? But this 10 is therefore a 9-cell region, and its 9th cell is one of these 2 cells. So that means these regions have to pick up these 2 cells, and they are quite large numbers to go into. Yeah, okay, this is gorgeous as well. Now let's think about these. We've got 2 cages with a 19 boundary. So the maximum I can make these, this cage is 18. The maximum I can make this cage is 18. Now, therefore, there's no possible way that these shapes contain, or one of these shapes contains both of these cells, because 8 and 9 is already 17. And you can see to get to the 8 and 9 would take at least 3 cells. So it just blows. Therefore, these must be shared amongst these 2 shapes. Now, in order to not cut each other off, therefore, we can just label them up like that. Now, this region, rather beautifully, has 5 cells in it and must add up to a maximum of 18, so I can't put the 9 in this one, because then I'd have 4 cells summing to 9. So this is the 8, it all gets disambiguated, this is the 9, and more important than that, this quadruple has to add up to 10 now, so it has to be 1, 2, 3 and 4. Those squares have therefore got to be 5, 6, 7 and 9. These, now, could this go further? I've got to be careful with my pencil marks again here, you know. This looks like it's a 1. I think I've got to change this. Yeah, that's going to confuse me. I think I'm going to put the oh my goodness. I'm going to put the pencil marks in the corners like that and just rely on the fact that I can see this one to make me look around for the ones that are sitting on top of the 12 and the 11. But if this is 9 and this cage has a maximum sum of 18, yeah, this can't take another cell. It just can't. So this cell has to be part of the 14. And these 3 squares have a maximum sum of 9. Okay, I'm not sure how to do that. How do we resolve this stuff down here? We've got a 16 here. So the 16, okay, well we can actually, because the 16 can't connect to the 46, because if it does, that 1 can't get a partner, and that would be very unkind. So the 16 must connect to the 1, because it can't come through the 46 to connect to the 17. So this is forced. let's make that, what colour shall I use? I'll use that colour. It's not actually terribly good, is it? Maybe I should use, oh, I've somehow managed to sort of dig myself into a right hole with the colours here. I think I have to use this one. So these three have a maximum, oh, yeah, look, these three have a maximum sum of 15. So I can't put the 8 or the 9 in this square, because that would make those two add up to 15 minimum, and I've still got one more cell left. So this one is not 8 or 9. Which means this, ooh, that means those are an 8-9 pair. Ooh, like, look at that. That's, again, it's just perfect setting, because those add up to 17. The maximum size for the region is 18, so that's got to be a 1. Therefore, that's not a 1. I'm always suspicious with things like this with Phistomefel. 9-cell regions. Look at this. This 1 sees a lot of this 9-cell region. Now, a 9-cell region has to have a 1 in it. Now, we know one of those squares is a 1, so the 1 can't live here. The 1 could live here, but it can't live in any of those squares. And if this turned left, it couldn't live in that square. So the 1 in the grey region is either here, or it's here, or it's here, if this goes right. So, what does that mean? Can we rule it out from here? If this was 1, I can rule it out from here. I can. Yeah, I can. Look, if this is 1, we now know this region here contains 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if the 1s can't be there, the 1 would have to be in one of those 2 squares. Now, why does that matter? Well, the reason I think it matters is now I can't put a 1 in these 3 squares. So these 3 squares would have to be 2, 3, and 4 in order to make sure that this region didn't break the 18 total. Well, if those 3 squares are 2, 3, and 4, and these 2 squares can't be 1, so this one is also a 2, 3, and a 4, obviously. Look, I've got 4 cells here that have to be the digits 2, 3, and 4. That doesn't work. So this actually is interesting, maybe, because it means that this square can't be a 1. Now, if that square can't be a 1, the 1s in the 9-cell grey region is either here, or if this cell, or if this region turns right, it could be here, but it's definitely in row 7. It's in, and it's in one of those squares, which means that square is a 3, that square is a 1. There's a 1 down there by sudoku. No. Oh, there's a bit of logic. Look, this square finds a mirror in this square because of the communication through this cage in box 4. So whatever I put in there obviously can't appear in the purple, can't appear in those cells, so it would have to reappear there. So this square is 2, 4, or 6. This, that's a shame. That's still got loads of options, I think. If this is 6, although, if this is 6, 13, oh no, that could still be a 2. Bobbins. No, I'm stuck. I'm stuck there. That doesn't seem to be going anywhere at all. So where on earth do we look now? really am not sure. Ah, I can get a 7, look. There's a 7 here and a 7 here. Now 7 can't go in this region because that's going to break. We know this has a maximum total of 18. So I've got to keep these digits quite small. So the 7 must live here, I presume. Now, let's check the communication of this 7 through the 10 cage then. Oh, God, this is gorgeous. Look, the 7 can't appear in the grey anymore. So in box 5, it can't appear in those squares. Now, look, it can't appear in that square either because this region already has a 7 in it. So the 7 in box 5 is locked into one of those cells. And you just know, I just know this is going to somehow be important because this is Phistomefel. That's not 7. Yeah, it is important. Where does 7 go in box 2? It can't go here because of this 7. It can't go those 2 because of these 7s. And it can't go in the red region. We've already looked at that. That would break the total. So it can only go there. So now there's a 7 in one of those 2 cells down at the bottom. And okay. And now I'm stuck again. So maybe we've got to look. This 11, yeah, this 11, look, that's got to get out. So it's got to take those 2 cells. And then it could come here, here, or here. This 14, the 14 has to hit a 1. So and the 14 has to hit a 1 and then it ends. Oh no, it could come, it could, I suppose, just go straight through that cell, couldn't it? That's interesting though. This square. Now hang on a moment. I'm wondering about this square because yeah, there's sorry, I know I'm not being very articulate at the moment. I'm just trying to well, what I'm actually thinking about is whether if these 3 squares add up to 9, whether they can be 1, 2 and 6. Because obviously the interesting thing about 1, 2 and 6 is it uses the 1 and the 2 in this total. Now that would mean this square has a minimum value of 3, and therefore this square would have a minimum value of 4. Now then, if that's the case, this breaks, because this can't take this square because that would make those 3 add up to 14, and we know that this has a boundary of 13, and if it turns downwards having had a 3 here, this square rather cleverly, obviously by design, can only be a 5. So this would break as well. Now if this can't be 1, 2 and 6, the 6 in box 1 I guess must go in one of those 2 cells. Now, this, it's just, everything matters. Everything matters. This matters. Because now where do we put 6 in this box? If we can't put a 6 in those 3 squares, we know we can't put a 6 here because we already have 13, and this area, whatever it looks like, is bounded by 13 already, and it's going to have to take another digit. So that can't be 6, these 2 can't be 6, we've already pencil marked them. We've just proved this can't be a 6, because the only way of making those 3 squares add up to 9 or less would be 6, 1, 2, which breaks. So this has to be a 6, I think. And oh, and this is lovely. And now the 14 can't turn down because it would be more than 13. So it must take this one. Okay. Now, does that help? Well, I presume... Oh, that's an interesting thought. That's an interesting thought. Look, if this is 13, and this is capped out at 18, 18 and 13 is 31, that would mean these squares here have to be at least equal to 14. Because I've maxed these out in order to make this, as little as 14. Because obviously the row adds up to 45. So, if these have to be at least 14, you can see they can't be 15, because I can't make 15 anymore. The 7-8 option's gone, the 6-9 option's gone. Anything higher than 15 requires a 9, which is already gone. So this has to be 14, this has to be 6 and 8. Which means there's an 8 in one of those 3 squares by sudoku. So these 4 squares have got to be 1, 2, 3 and 4 to complete box 3. And the other thing that I'm seeing as I solve this puzzle is how Phistomefel has constructed it. So he started very much on this side. He's allowed, then he's forcing the logic, in this area. And now I think he's forcing the logic here because he's used this 14 clue. Look at this. Can this 1 connect to this 14 clue? Well, if it did, it would be bounded by a 13 total maximum. So 6 plus 5 plus 1 is 12. Well, that square has to be at least a 2 if I've made that a 1. And that breaks because that gets you, surprisingly enough, to 14. So this 1 can't connect to the 46 because it can't. If it does, if the 1 connects to the 46, this 1 is sort of stranded. This has to poke out actually, so let's poke it out, and then. So if the 1 can't connect to the 14, it now can't get to the 46. It must connect to the 15. Which means that the 1 here must attach. Why is that clue 46 given its... anyway, that must connect here. Oh, no, I see why this is 46. It's because in order to keep this total below or to 14 or less, this can't take this square. So this square has to be picked up by this shape. So that and that must be part of blue. This must be part of the 115. And just check the total here. 6 plus 5 plus 1 plus 2 is 14. I thought I'd broken it then, but it's okay. But that does mean these are 1 and 2. So they are 1 and 2. So this is not 2. So this is not 2 using our mirror. Now, now let's look at this. If this is 7 and 6, this would have to be a 2. If this is 7 and 4, 11, this has to be 7 and 4. Well, this couldn't be a 4 then, but it has to be 15 or less. So that this is a 2 or a 3. Bother. I thought we might be able to get that, but I don't think we can. So let's go back over here. Yeah, we know this has to be minimal, so these 2 squares are forced. We get a 6 here and a 5 here. So these 2 are 7 and 9. That is an 8. So these add up to 30 plus whatever we put in that square, which is 3 or 4. This 11 now has to find a friend, so it has to take the 18. But it could still continue. Whoa, okay, so I'm stuck again here. That can't be a 1 or a 2, look, that's got to be a 3 or a 4. So this square here, if this is a 3, that would be 10. This would have to be, this has got to be, in that situation, that's, so if this is, we've got to keep this to a relatively low number, haven't we? This could be a 1 or a 2, but it can't be a 3, because if it's a 3, this total gets to 14 again, so this is a 1 or a 2. This is a 3-4 pair. Wow. As you can tell, I'm struggling a bit to see how to take this forward now. So what is it I'm meant to spot next? So I've done this 15 clue. That's given me a 1 and a 2 here. Ah, I know what I could do, you know. Of course. In making this 6, 8, 14, I was taking these to be maximum values. So this has to add up to 13. Well, given this is 3 or 4, this can't be a 3 ever, because in order to make that add up to 13, I have to repeat the 3. So this has to be a 4, I think. That has to be a 2. No 2 in those squares. And these are 1, 3, 5, which looks like it might work, actually. Thank goodness. 1, 3, and 5 into those squares. So 2 must be in one of these squares. I don't trust this pencil mark. Why is that just limited to 1 or 3? Why can't that be a 2 or a 4? I think this is a remnant of my 1, 3 penciling up here. I know that one isn't a 1, so I do know there's a 1 in one of those 2 squares, so I know there is no 1 in those 2 squares. So that means the 1 is in, well, I knew this already. Ah, there you go. There you go. If this is 1, 3, 5, and I know there's a 3 in this triumvirate, and I do know that because this has to include a 3 and the 3 is not there, this can't be a 3, it can't be a 1, that's a 5. Oh, I thought that would be a lot more helpful. Okay, that creates a 1, 3, 4 triple here. So 4 must be in one of those 2 cells, which means 4 is not in either of those 2 squares. So there's a 1, 2, 3 triple here. These 2 squares are a 4, 6 pair. Let's get rid of the pencil marking here, put the 4, 6 pair in. So these are 5, 8, and 9. Oh, and there's a 3 in here, of course. So that, does this have to be a 2? I think it does. So that means this becomes a 1, 3 pair. Oh, that 2 tidies up some stuff here. And the stuff here. And the 5 can't be there. My goodness me, I feel like I'm doing quite well here. I've had 40 minutes. I've got less than half the puzzle done. This could be another movie. Now, sorry about this. This is not proving. Maybe this. Ah, yes. Look again. Perfect total here. If this this has a maximum sum of 17 because of the 18 here, so this can't include the 8 and the 9, otherwise once we put a third cell in there we would reach 18. So this must be just an 8 or a 9. There must be a 5 in this shape. So this is either 5 and 8 or 5 and 9. If it's 5, that can never be a 7 because that would break the total. So the 7 shifts downwards. If this is 5 and 8, and we've got to keep this to 17 maximum, this has got to be, it can't be a 2, that's got to be a 3 or a 4. If it's, so this is always 3 or 4. Which is useful, but it's not enough, is it? It's not cracked the puzzle. So we're going to have to think again. What is it that I'm meant to be spotting here? And the answer is I don't know. No, I am stuck. These shapes as well, they've sort of reached a dead end in this box. So what is it I'm meant to be figuring out here? So this 46 is either going to join this grey or it's going to be part of this 17. I am not spotting what I need to here at all. Oh, now, hang on a second. I was just wondering, if we turn this left, now where do I put, do I have a problem with 2s now? Maybe I don't actually. Maybe I don't. I've got to put a 2 in the grey. I've nearly got a problem with 2s, but not quite. I think if that was a 2, I could still put a 2 here. No, I'm not sure. I don't think that's whatever I was thinking there. I'm not sure it's good. Let me just check. Yeah, 3, 4. So we've got it right. Now I've got to think again. So what do I need to figure out here? 4, 6. 4, 6 here. Oh, that is it. That is a 2, is it? Is that the only place a 2 can go in this box? How have I not spotted that? It's because of the mirroring, and I forget. So the 2 goes there. That knocks that from being a 2. The 2 is in one of these 2 cells. So 2 is now in one of those 3 squares. Maybe it is 2s I'm meant to be focusing on. Can't quite figure out how though. This one. Good grief. It's been staring me in the face. Sorry. Look, the 1 just sees that square. Oh my god. That's a 4. That's a 1. That's a 3. Is that useful? It is useful, because now I've got to put a 1 in the grey, and the 1 can't go there in the grey, so the 1 must go here, and that completes the grey. And now this square must be part of the red, because that's the only shape that can reach it. So do we get Do we get any? Ah, this 3 sees this. Ooh, now, where do I put a 2? I've already thought about this. Where do we put a 2 in this shape? It's got to be here. This, I think that can still be 4 or 6 because we've taken the lower option here. Right, okay, so okay. This puzzle is mind-blowingly hard. It's so difficult, at least for me, to spot how to make the next step, how to find the next step simply. There is nothing simple about this. I've got a 4-6 pair here, so this is not 4 or 6. This is 2 or 5, so that's not 5. So this creates a 4-6 pair there. Does that use? That puts a 4 in one of those squares, which places a 4 in one of these squares. 6 must live in one of those positions. I don't quite see how to use that. Got something. Can that square be a 6? If this square is a 6, look at the effect it has on box 5. It locks a 6 out of those squares, and you'd have to put a 6 in one of these squares where it would clash. This square is a 4. This is a 6. That means that's a 6. Check, that's 15, which is good. That works. There's no 6 in these squares. 1, 3, 4. We get a 6 at the bottom, a 4 here. I'm not going to say we're cooking with anything because I'm far from sure we are, but at least we got another flurry of digits there. Okay. Now. I've got no idea what to do. So the 4... okay, yeah, we can use the 4 in the same way we use the 6, you know, because the 4 now must be in one of these 3 squares in box 5. So the 4 can't go there. In fact, the 4 must go here. And whatever I put into this square will make a rear... is that it? That's it, that's beautiful. Oh, this is... Look at this. So whatever I put in this square now can't appear in those squares in this box and can't appear here. So needs to make a reappearance in these 2 squares. So these squares now are a 7, 8, 9... We know there's a 7, we know it's joined by an 8 or a 9. But that means that where does the 4 now go? Well, the 4 can only go here in the middle box, because it can't go in either of those squares. Now that 4 limits what this can be. I can't even read what that says. That was 11. Oh, 11, 18. Yeah, I need this to add up to 17 as a maximum. So these can't now be 5 and 9. Good grief. So these are 5 and 8, which makes that a 9. And now we know that this domino here is not 7, 8. It's got to be 7, 9. So we can remove the 8. 9 by sudoku now goes there. And there must be a 3 in one of these cells. And in fact, I think there must be a 6 in one of those cells as well, because we've not managed to place a 6 yet in box 5. Sorry, in column 5. Now, wow. So maybe now, I really don't know what. 7. 7 is locked into one of those in the same rows of the grid. Look, in box 4 and box 5. So the 7 must be in one of those squares. Maybe this one. What one's that one going to join to? So this now can't join to these, so it's definitely a different colour. It could join to that. Or it could come, that could join to the 5, sorry, and this comes out. This is good. This is good. This 16, what can it be friends with? If it's the 13, it's too far away. That's a 6-cell region. Maximum size would be 15. If it's the 18, that's a 6-cell region. Again, maximum size would be 17. Minimum number we could make it would be 21. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now it can't join to the 39 because although the 39 can accommodate it, the 21 is now isolated. So the only option is the 16 joins to the 14, and therefore it must include this cell, otherwise this cell will be isolated. So this does sum to exactly 15. That's annoying though, because that, I was about to say that means those sum to 6, but they could sum to 6 if they take it. It's possible to make 3 cells, of course, sum to 6, so that's actually not quite as helpful as I thought. Now, what are the options for this square? It can't be 1. What are the options? It can't be 1, 2, or 4, and it can't be too big. It's got to be 3 or 5. Anything bigger and it breaks the total. Now that one can't be a 3 or a 4. Whoa, this is complicated. So if this is a 5, this has to be a 1. If this is a 3, this has to be a 1 or a 2. No, that's not right. If this is a 3, this can't be a 2, because now I need a 1 to make this region add up to 15. Where do I get that 1 from? I can't get it from here. These have already got clues on them. I can't get it from anything in row 8 because there's already a 1. And I can't get it from here, obviously, because there's a 1 in the box and it's part of a different region. So whatever you do, this square is a 1, but this square might not be a 3. This can still be a 3 or a 5. So now I'm wondering about the bottom row. If these two join to each other, the maximum size of this domino would be 4. We know this is a 15, so that's 19. And the maximum size of these 3 squares would be 15 if I pick a 5 for this. So 15 add another 15, add 4 is 34. You'd have to put 11 into that square. That doesn't work, so this is not a domino. This 1 must go up. And the 5 must go up, which actually bounds this one. That's got to live in its own. So these two add up to some number between 2 and, well, they can't add up to 2, but 3 and 12. This one, this one could join that one. It could come this way and join that one. Is that possible? No, that's actually interesting. It can't join that one because that would be a maximum size of 20 because this is a 21 and it's a 6-cell region. So this 5 doesn't join that one. And it can't join the 39 again because that would isolate this one. So actually, and it can't obviously loop round like this, that would isolate the 18. The 14 is too far away, so it does join this one. But again, it could be more cells than just 3 cells. This is just, whoa. Now, this 22 can't join to the 21. You can't make 21 and a half a total. Can't join to the 39 because it would isolate the 14. So the 22 and the 14 have to be friends. And therefore, they must take all those cells. Otherwise, we'll isolate a cell in the grid. Now, they could take more cells. Although now we've got, we should probably do some arithmetic on the column. We've got 12 here plus 21 max there, that's 33. And the maximum of those 3 squares, that's interesting, isn't it? It's 13. That is the maximum. So that adds up to 46 if I pick the absolute maximum for everything. And that's interesting because that means if this does take a cell outside like that, is that possible? I don't think it is, because now I'd have to put 1 in here. That would become a 1, and now the maximum value of this has gone down by 1, and I don't think I can make the column add up, can I? Because I get 12 plus 20, because I can't use the 1, so 20 plus 12 is 32. No, that doesn't work. That only adds up to 12. That only gets me to 44. So actually, this is now finished. This blue region is done. So now, good grief, what am I meant to do now? So now I've got this red region could potentially come this way. This could potentially take a 2 in one of the, if there was a 2, it would have to be here. But other than that, these two have to be friends. There's no other option. So these are in the same region. If they're in the same region, we can't isolate this square. So all these squares are in the same region. This puzzle, my goodness me. Now, that's interesting. Look, that can't be a 7, because there's already a 7 in the cage. Okay. So now, this square, what can that be part of? It can't be part of this region, because this region, if it got here, would be 6 cells large, and it would have to have at least a 21 total. So, and it can't be part of that one, because that must be an enormous region of a size of about 100. So this one is purple, and therefore it's not 7 again. So we get a 7 in the grid. Now, therefore, what do we do next? We go... So this square must be the next place to look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It can't be reached by this one. If it was reached by this one, let me just have a stare at this for a second. So this would have a maximum size of 17. Ah, no, that's a 1 or a 2. That is a 1 or a 2, so that's going to take up too much, probably. So if this was if we put this as the minimum we could include a 1 in one of, in fact, exactly that square. If this was a 1, the other squares couldn't then include a 2 because the 2 would be here. So we could do 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which adds up to too many, adds up to 19. So this means that this square is also purple. So the purple is getting bigger. Now it's size 6. Ah, now there's some nice logic as well. Look, there's a 9 in the purple. So these squares are not 9. So the 9, the 9 in this region is in one of those 4 positions. I don't know which one, but look, it aligns in rows 5 and 6 with these 9s. So that means there can't be any more 9s in rows 5 and 6. There's no 9 here, no 9 here. That's the only place for a 9 in row 4. So we get an 8. 8 must be... I don't believe it. It doesn't... Does this not do anything, this 9, 8? No. No, it doesn't. You're jocking my straps. This is unbelievable. Okay. Okay, no, I understand. I know you don't want to give up easily, puzzle. Oh, that's a nice piece of logic. I've got a nice piece of logic. This square. If this square is a 5, look, it makes this square a 3. Now we know this region needs to add up to 15, so it's got to have a 2 as its extra digit. But this square, obviously by making this a 5, this has become a 2, and now I can't put a 2 in this region because 2 is ruled out from all of the 2 options that I've got by this square. So actually we can do something cool here. This square can't be a 5. This has got to be a 2. This has got to be a 5. Now that presumably is going to be important. Well, I thought it was going to be important, but I'm not actually sure it is. I don't believe it. It's not... I don't know if it's done anything. It makes me want to cry. What am I doing wrong? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. This square can't be a 1. This square can't be a 4. This is what I've been reduced to. Maybe that square. What? That can't be part of the blue. It can't be part of the red, and it can't be part of the purple. That square is red. Okay, that was an easy one. I should have got that a while ago. Maybe I can do the same with this square. Look. Although, oh no, this square can't be a 2 because there's a 2 in the box, so it can't be part of this one. If this was connected to there, that would be... No. Oh, no, that doesn't work. If this is a 1, that doesn't work. Because this would need to have a 1 in it, and it couldn't have. So this square is also red. So we're starting to get the bones of a restriction here, aren't we? Let's look at this column, in fact, because we've got this 7-9 pair. So this square here has got to be 3, just 3 or 8, is that right? I think it is. So maybe this square, that square now can't be 5. So this square, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are ruled out. 6, 7 or 8 are possible apparently. So this one's got to be 5, 6 or 8. This one's got to be 5, 6. Can't be 7. That could be 5, 6 or 8. And that one's got to be 5, 7 or 8. Wow, okay. I can't actually see what that pencil mark is in this square. That's annoying. I hope it's not really crucial. Let's mark these squares up. This square has got to be, looking at the row, we've got 3, 5, 7 and 8. So this has got to be, this has got to be 3, 5 or 7. This square has got to be, that's interesting. That square can only be 3 or 8 now. Let's just double check that. That does look right. And this, now hang on, let's come back to this column total. Because I picked real maximums, didn't I? 12, 21, there's 1 degree of freedom. That's interesting. So these two squares either have to sum up to 12 or 11. They can't sum up to less. So if this is summing up to 12, that's good. Because then this would be a 9, forced, because it couldn't be a 4, because of the 4 here. Now if this sums up to 11, it's got to be 3, 8. Now that's good, that's good, that's good, because that means this domino always contains a 3, and therefore that one doesn't have a 3. And look, 3, 8, 9, triple in row 8, so that's not an 8. Which means we need 2, 6 and 7 into these squares. Oh, it's so close. There's a 2 in one of those two positions. Now, so now maybe we can 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is not part of this region, otherwise this clue would have to be 46. So this square is either part of the 15 region, the 18 region, or the 46 region. Beautiful, beautiful. Can this square ever be a 7? Can this square ever be a 7? Well, the answer is no. Because if it is a 7, it can't be a friend of any region. It can't join any region. I think that's right anyway, because this square's got to be at least a 4, because it can't be a 1, 2 or a 3. So let's just check. If this is a 7, can it join the red region? Well, this would be a 5. We could make that one a 2, so we'd have 7 plus 5 plus 2 is 14, plus 4 is 18. That's too big. This can be a maximum of 17. So it doesn't join the red region. It clearly doesn't join the blue region. Now look, this was the clever thing I spotted. Can it join, if it joins this red region, you can't repeat the 7 in the region, and then you can't put a 7 in this box anywhere. So this is not 7 anywhere. There's just no way. This is never 7. Which means that where does the 7 go in the box? It's in one of those two positions for sure, which fixes the 7 and the 9, which means that's not a 9. Now presumably we're going to get more from this. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't get anything extra from it. Okay, that doesn't work. That just doesn't work. I'm going to do that again. Can this be a 6? Now, if this is a 6, what can it be party to? It can't be part of the 15. It can't be part of this one again. You couldn't then put a 6 in this region. Ah, and it can't be part of that region, because if it is, and I think it could be this time, 6, let's make that 4, that's the minimum it could be, that gives us 10, yeah, 2 and 5, so in theory a 6 here works, but I don't think it does, because this is now maxed out, this 4-cell region, and that means the other 3 cells in the grid all have to join the purple region, and that would make the purple region size 9, which it can't be because it's got a 39 in it. Right, so, sorry, this is not straightforward. This square is not 6, this is 2. Which gives us a 6, 7 pair, obviously, I suppose. 2. No, no! No, it doesn't. It still doesn't crack. I don't know. I don't even know what colour this is. It could be part of the... I don't even know what colour this is. I'm sure that there is a simple way of cracking this puzzle here. I'm just failing to see it. This is not straightforward though. It's definitely not straightforward. What are the options for this square? Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. This has got to be 5, 8 or 9. This one has got to be 5, 6. It can't be 8 and it can't be 9 because then there's already a 9 in the cage. So this one just gets down to 5 or 6. This one, we already knew it couldn't be 9. So this one's 5, 6 or 8. This one is not 4. So this one is 5, 6, 8 or 9. Is that really true? Oh no, I think it is. Okay. Wow. Wow, okay, I've just spotted something that I view as quite clever. If this square, well, if this square is blue, let's ask the question, if this square is blue, what can this square be? I was presuming it couldn't join this, but actually maybe I'm wrong about that. No, I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong about that because this is just too high to join this shape. So it has to be part of the purple. And that means that the purple would extend like that. And now, where do I put a 9 in column 7? Ta-da! Nowhere, because of the 9's here. So you couldn't put a 9 in column 7 if this is a blue 2. So it's not a blue 2. Now, by the same logic, presumably it can't be a purple 2 either. So it's not a blue 2. But if it's not a blue 2, this square must be a 5. Let's do it that way. Now that gives me a 5 here and an 8 here. That gives me a 3 here and maybe. So now I know this must be the 3 in this row. 5 gives me a 7 here. That gives me a 6. Yes. 8. 6 here. 5. It's slowly, maybe. Is it yielding its secrets? This can't be a 6. I still don't know whether this joins this shape though. Ah, I do now, because this has to be at least a 4. And in fact it is a 4, because otherwise it breaks the total given I've got 13 in it. So that's a 4. This therefore has to join this one. Of course that's the wrong colour now. So I'll change the colour of that one, I think, to grey. Therefore this one turns red. This is now completed. This is not a 4. There's got to be a 4 in this shape though, so one of those two squares must be a 4. And this has to be a 5. Ah, this has to be the 8 or the 9. So there's an 8-9 pair here, so this is a 5. That gives me a 6. Please keep going. Please keep going. 6 has got to go there. Those two squares have got to be 3 and 8. Yes, good. 8, 3, 4. Nah. 6 here gives me an 8 there. That gives me a 9 here. That gives me the 9 and the 7. Oh, I've got a deadly pattern down there. Let's hope that doesn't last long. 7, 5 here. 5 must go there. What on earth is going on here? I need 1, 2 and 3. So this square's got to be a 1 or a 3. This square's got... That square's got... So I've got a deadly pattern there. Ah, I've got deadly patterns all over the place. But why did I get 1 and 3 here? That doesn't seem right, given that's a 1 or a 2. I don't... Oh, it's because of the 2s in this row, of course. So this is a hidden single. Okay, so that's a 2, that's a 1. I'm still confused about what's going on here, but let's continue. Now, these two squares, you can see we need a 2 in this column, so it's going to have to be here. This square is a 4. Let's check the total for... Ah, this is beautiful. I see what's going to happen. Good grief. So this... The way that this 8-9 pair at the bottom get disambiguated is by the total here, which is maxed out at 21. So at the moment I've got 9, 13. This can't be a 9 or it would make 22. So this is 8, this is 9, this is 9, this is 8. And we've still got another deadly pattern to resolve. Ah, now maybe I've got to... You're kidding. Yeah, look at this. I think I've got to use this shape. This can't be purple because the purple's already got a 9. So this square is red. Those two squares turn red. Oh, look, the 39 total. I don't believe it. If this is... I bet you if this takes this square, it hits 39. We've got 30. Yes, it does. 35. If these two squares are both purple, which they could absolutely be, the total for the purple cage would be 39, and it can't be. It's got to be less. So this square has to be red and... Oh, good. It's just gorgeous. And this 3 disambiguates the puzzle because you can't repeat 3 in the red. That's 1. That's 1. That's 3. That's 3. Yeah! Maybe not quite the exuberance of Ahaupt, but that puzzle was, I mean, it's monumentally hard. That is the second longest Sudoku solve ever on the channel. And I know I was very slow with working this 1s into the 1-3 up there. But apart from that, everything just felt very, very hard indeed. Phistomefel as usual, just up to his usual tricks. But a magnificent, magnificent puzzle. Do let me know in the comments what you thought. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.